First of all, I am really thankful to RARE Analysis who gave me opportunity to speak at 4th Rail and Metro Technology Conclave 2023. Before I start, let me tell that we have a set of diverse speakers, experts from IIT Delhi, Hitachi, Siemens, KEC, Texmaco, Rail and Engineering, and they all possess a vast knowledge in infrastructure, rolling stock, S&T. So Government of India has started various projects to boost infrastructure development across the country. Government of India has also spent 1% of GDP on transport infrastructure, and it is twice the level of America and most European countries. So far as the national infrastructure projects such as roads, energy, railways, urban transportation are concerned, government is spending 102 lakh crore rupees on these projects in the span of 5 years. Now in year 2023, India's GDP is $3.75 trillion and is 5th largest economy in the world, and it is expected by 2030, India may overtake Germany and Japan and to become the 3rd largest country of the world. So far as the signaling is concerned, signaling systems plays a vital role in ensuring the safe and efficient operation of transportation networks, particularly in railways. If you see in Indian railways, for 59,000 running route kilometer, optical fiber cable is used, and in metro projects we are using CBTC system, and now DMRC recently has also started IATS system. So far as the European countries are concerned, they are using the ETCS, that is a European train control system, and PTC positive train control, and it is advanced technology being used in the European countries. So far as the telecommunication part is concerned, we all are aware that this system continue to evolve, and some recent developments taken are IoT, artificial intelligence, machine learning, satellite internet, and many more. Now, without taking much time, I will straightway go to panelist. Now, our first panelist is Mr. Mangal. He is head Hitachi Rail System India and South Asia. Sir, you have 30 years experience and since large years working in present organization. Skill in sectors of mobility as a service, automotive, energy, digital infrastructure, mergers, acquisition, and also dealing with MNCs and startups in rolling stock locomotives, HSR, urban transport, signaling and train control, etc. As we are aware that Hitachi is a complete railway system solution provider, including operational technology, information technology, and Internet of Things. Technology for mainline passengers, system, freight railways, and urban transport. My question is, Hitachi has been awarded Chennai Metro signaling contract for 3 corridors of phase 2. How much is the Indonesian levels on the same, and what is latest progress? What localization strategies Hitachi is planning to undertake to deliver mega contract over a period of 57 months? Shri Mangal sir.
Thank you. Thank you. First of all, very good morning to all of you, and thank you Rail Analysis for organizing this conference, and thank you Mr. Bhatti for your very elaborate introduction and question. So let me just give you some background that Hitachi a few years back acquired this company called Ansaldo STS, which is basically an European company, and they have been doing signaling system on Indian Railways for a very, very long time. We just completed 25 years last year, and the interlocking, electronic interlocking, and the first ETCS for the Gatiman system was provided by Ansaldo, now Hitachi Rail STS. And in the urban sector, So we have been delivering CBTC system, and we have in our record the Noida Metro system, which was complete CBTC for signaling and also telecommunication. Then we also commissioned part of Kolkata Metro already, which is under operation, and also in the process of commissioning Navi Mumbai, which is on a turnkey basis as a system. So you can see that, this elaborate track record means that we must have been, local. So while it's a global company, but we are very much local. So we employ close to 700 staff. Majority of them are engineers, and the entire project engineering, the entire data preparation and the entire validation of the signaling system, the installation and the quality control and the project management, all is done in India. So based on this experience that we have gathered on different metros, Chennai is going to be another feather, another milestone for us, because by far Chennai is a quite big project. It is a combination of few lines, and therefore, there is a priority lines amongst them, and then we have to deliver the entire signaling system and interface with several rolling stock companies. So the work has already started, and we are fully geared up with teams, fully local, and of course with the support of our European entities in Italy and in France. So we are going to deliver this system, but we want to make sure that we integrate majority of the systems which are available in India. For example, the point machine, for example, the MS DAC, and many more, the power supply, and all that is available in India. We will definitely integrate into our system like we have been doing in different systems. But to say that the amount of indigenization, I think, would be growing day by day with every project, because we need volumes, continuously we need volumes so that we can then invest into manufacturing. The only thing which I think has not been possible so far is the amount of projects which happen simultaneously. Of course, in a continuous manner, in a seamless manner, we are delivering projects like I mentioned about the Kolkata, Navi Mumbai, and also Noida Metro. But if you have large number of projects simultaneously, then you get at least some minimum volume to transfer the manufacturing. And the railway signaling manufacturing, it's a safety related, and the volumes are very small. So to transfer the technology or transfer the manufacturing from an existing setup, which actually is manufacturing for your global requirement, is very difficult, both in terms of investment and also in terms of getting the kind of quality that you need, because once you install the signaling system, it has to perform, to provide the safety that is desired by the operator for a continuous manner. So you cannot have the failures of a signaling system and then you try to replace and repair and maintain that. But I think you need a very high level of manufacturing quality in terms of electronic cards, whatever those cards are, or in terms of other components. So if you look at the entire signaling, there are three major components. In hardware is one. The second is majority is the software. So software has to be modified for all kind of different requirements of different operators, different detailed specification that is there in every metro, depending on the rolling stock, depending on the other interfaces. And third is the ancillary component, which I talked about. So in terms of ancillary components, we have quite a big setup in India. The setup ecosystem, and this is being widely used and will be used in Chennai Metro. So to sum up, I would say that almost a kind of 50 to 60% localization is possible in a signaling system by value.
Thanks, sir. Thank you. You have given a wonderful insights. You have mentioned about, sir, Noida Metro. In fact, I was looking after as a team leader on behalf of RITES from March 2016 to December 2018. And the whole Noida Metro, which is 29 kilometer viaduct with 21 metro station and more than 1,000 piers. I was overall in charge and the whole construction has been done in my presence. I have seen you have really done a wonderful work in Noida Metro also. Now, sir, let us come to another question. My question is on Thales ground transportation. On the acquisition of Thales ground transportation systems by Hitachi, please let us know the update on this. How will this impact your business in India?
So again, thank you for your question. So I think in the last 5 years, the direction of Hitachi has really changed from what it used to be and what it is today. Today we are focused on three things drivers. One is green, making sure that whatever business we do, it is aligned with our society, with the community, with the environment. So we put a lot of focus on social innovation in our business. The second is the digital. Embracing digital is very, very important. We, in our 100 billion turnover of Hitachi Limited globally, 25 to 30% turnover is digital, comes from digital. So therefore, we are very serious about digital and we want to take digital to every business, to every customer and create a kind of a value that is required in today's scenario where our operators, our customers are more interested in the outcome, in the services than in the products and in the assets. So they want to, allow you to install the assets, maintain the assets and give them the outcome. And therefore, it is very important that you integrate clean and green technologies together with digital services into that. And third is our continuous innovation. So innovating in every field and innovating and putting more than 5% of our profit into R&D, I think it's a huge amount that goes into innovation and we are innovating in every sector that we deal with. As far as rail is concerned, I think after we did acquisition of Ansaldo, the two companies, Ansaldo STS and Ansaldo Breda, we created a footprint for our railway business outside Japan, outside Asia Pacific, into Europe, into UK, and then in the US. Now, Thales is a company, the ground transportation system of Thales is a company which aligns very well with our ambition to deliver value to our customers worldwide. They add on to our global footprint and they have some very fine technologies which, together with our existing technologies can make sure that we can deliver a complete bouquet of solutions to our customers. Therefore, it is very important that we integrate and we create this kind of synergy. And to top it up, Thales is also one of the leaders in fare collection or the revenue collection in multiple sectors, be it railway, be it bus transportation, be it highways and tolls. So that way we can deliver a complete infrastructure in terms of signaling, in terms of traffic management, be it on metro or mainline, passenger or freight, high speed, all the systems as a complete signaling system. And we believe that by virtue of this, we will get to a position of a leader, global leader in signaling and telecommunication system. And we have that kind of vision and we want to make sure that our existing customers which value Hitachi a lot will get to gain by this. Definitely the time that we had foreseen to complete this has been delayed and of course this will be accelerated. Of course this is not just in the hands of Hitachi but also in the several markets, several governments where this Thales is operating. So therefore it's a kind of a collaborative work that you have to do in making sure that you maintain the complete transparency and also maintain complete secrecy or of all the know-how between these two companies. Still, we pronounce what is called the day one. So we yet have not hit the day one. So we still are two separate companies, and we are looking forward to have ground transportation system joining Hitachi shortly.
Thank you very much, sir. You have given me great insights. I will come back to you, sir. I have another panelist, Mr. Manish Agarwal. He is Head Rail Infrastructure Mobility Siemens Limited. Sir, you have 26 years experience in BD, PMC sales, both in India and abroad, and responsible for S&T business in transportation sector in India. As we are aware that Siemens Limited is a technology company focused on industry, infrastructure, digital transportation, transmission and generation of electrical power. My question is, sir, Siemens have been awarded the SCADA contracts for Surat Metro Phase 1 and Ahmedabad Metro Phase 2. What is the technology being used for this? How much is the Indianization levels on the same, and what is the latest progress on the same? Manish, sir.
Morning, everybody. So we do have these contracts, big ones, new. Technology is, we are going towards making it more standard, making it more open. It's not going to be something which is proprietary. It's not something which is limited to only what Siemens can deliver. So it's basically on a WinCC platform which is more open and has hundreds of developers across the world who can also add on functionalities to this going forward. It's, let's say, a WinCC is the Google Play Store in that part of the world. From a localization perspective, the PLCs are made in the country for long. The software is done in India. The customization is done in India. The screens are made in India. Okay, screens is the wrong word. The visuals which the customer wants are made in India. So I would say for a SCADA, we are 80-85% local, and it's really made in India for India on an open platform. If that answers your question, sir.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you. Sir, another question. Railways is now looking to enhance safety and upgrade its signaling infrastructure on key routes. Can you please share more insights into this? How can Siemens contribute to this initiative? Manish, sir.
That's a question we can talk about for half an hour also, but the time will not allow me, but we can go half an hour on this. So, what is Railway doing today? Railway is doing a national ATP called TCAS. So this will bring a safety to the system which is, let's say, at a lower level. Today it was fine when we didn't want to move more than one train between two stations. Averagely in India, between two stations, the distance is 8 kilometers. Traditionally, between two stations, one train. And now, together with TCAS, the national ATP, you add to that an automatic signaling, automatic block signaling, where you put, let's say, track vacancy devices, can be an axle counter, can be a track circuit of any origin. And then you can put more than one train between two stations, theoretically 4 trains between two stations, and then you have a capacity. The capacity addition happens quite easily based on automatic signaling. The safety gets added on to by the TCAS or the national ATP, and the supervisory control will happen in the third segment called a train management or CTC, for which, let's say, a lot of emphasis has been put by the railway, but physical tenders are not really out so far. The convergence of these three things, the national ATP, the track vacancy systems or the automatic block signaling, and the TMS or CTC put together will lay a foundation of an extremely modern and safe railway, where you will be able to put a lot of trains between stations, and you will be able to utilize the capacity of the 59,000 odd kilometers, which today is rather limited, and we sometimes go on to, let's say, a more brick and mortar style of doing, let's do a tripling, let's do a quadrupling, which doesn't really impact the capacity in such a way as it is can be done by simply putting in more trains between two stations. That's what I would say, sir, as the future is. The signaling will change the capacity of amount of trains that can be put through a system in Indian Railway.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Matt. I will come back to you, sir. having another panelist, Mr. Ashish Singh, Vice President, BD and Marketing, KEC International. Sir, you have worked as head in railways for metro railways, executed underground metro projects, DMRC Phase 3 and Jaipur Metro projects. In fact, I was also associated with the Jaipur Metro project for 3 years from 2012 to 2015. We are aware that KEC International Limited is India's second largest manufacturer of electric power transmission, towers and EPC companies in the world. Has delivered infrastructure projects more than 100 countries in power transmission and distribution, railways, civil, UI, solar, smart infrastructure, oil, gas pipeline, etc. So my question is, what have been the key initiatives, projects undertaken by KEC International for development of railway infrastructures? Mr. Ashish Singh.
Thank you, Mr. Bhatti. In addition to, you have already mentioned the other area for business operation. I will talk only about what we are doing in the railway. Today we are present in the railway segment in practically all segments, whether it is all segments of metro or the conventional railway. In metro, we are doing around 21 projects of totaling around 7,400 crores. Out of this, around 55 kilometer plus is the viaduct. We are also operating into the power system, ballastless track, FOCS, ROCS is another area where we are trying to attempt. And these are the general segment. In the conventional, we are present in all segments. We have delivered around 800 kilometers of composite railway track to Indian Railway in last 4 years, which is substantially comparable to any DFCC project, because this is all working around the brownfield project. We are present doing everything, basically formation, track, DGS, SNT, OHE, all segments. In specific to signaling, since this seminar is focusing more on signaling, we are executing around 30 projects for the Indian Railway with a pan-India presence. This is standalone signaling, either composite TI, composite project signaling modifications, or RE fitment. And some few important projects which I can mention is the Banihal tunnel project, which is being executed by Konkan Railway. We are doing the signaling. Dedicated freight corridor with our partner Siemens. And Kavach from Delhi to Mughal Sarai is the section we are executing. And probably one international project we have recently been awarded for Bangladesh with partner Hitachi. So these are the general area where I can mention that we are operating. Thanks, sir.
Thank you. In continuation, what are the new digital and technological strategies adopted by KEC International?
Technology, basically we are trying to do most of the things because we are working at the ground using various machines, various tools, labors. So primary objective is to do the mechanization and the digitalization to improve the efficiency, to improve the safety, to improve the quality of the projects, number one. We have also developed some in-house robot system, which is for the safety of the people working at the site. We have patented it because it is in-house developed. It indicates the approaching train and for this gives guide to the workers working along the track. We have also developed some in-house digital apps, mobile apps, which helps in environmental safety related parameters to check the CRS preparedness and the progress monitoring. Probably we are also using most of the precast system, trying to develop into going into the precast to save the time cycle and improve the quality of the projects. We are also using the BIMS and the digital survey, drone survey for the better, faster survey completion. These are the primary initiatives that we have taken, sir. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you, sir. I will come back to you, sir. Now we are having Dr. Jagdish Shahu, Professor IIT Delhi. Sir, you are MTech and PhD from IIT Kanpur and postdoctoral research from Japan, and specialization in transportation geotechnics, tunneling, slope stability, and joined IIT Delhi in 2002 and now HAD professor at IIT Delhi. Sir, being a professor, first of all, I salute you I was the student of IIT from May 97 to December 98 when I was on study leave from RITES for a period of 18 months. So I am meeting IIT professor, I think, more than 25 years. Now your views are required, sir. It is not a question. Really, your views are really required. What initiative does IIT Delhi take to support transformation of Indian Railways into a modern and future-ready system? Do you also conduct multiple feasible studies on or work with them on innovations? Sir.
Thank you, Bhatti Saab, for giving this opportunity. First of all, I would like to tell that where we are working mostly, especially I will say Indian Railways, the focus now has shifted towards I will speak from the point of view of tracks and anything below the ground. So, as far as tracks are concerned, as you know, we are trying to increase the speeds, we are trying to shorten the distance. So, one of the most important feature there is a tunneling. So, if you look at the tunneling activities, there are more than hundreds of projects of tunneling going on all around us, especially in Northeast, railways expanding, Uttarakhand, Jammu Kashmir, everywhere tunneling infrastructure is coming up. So there now Himalaya is a very fragile topography, and a lot of research and lot of consultation is required for tunneling in these kind of terrains. Also nowadays there is underwater bridge is coming up in Brahmaputra in Assam. So there also a lot of technical input is needed. So that is one aspect. Second aspect, I would say, like presently bullet train which is being constructed from Ahmedabad to Bombay, it is on viaduct, which is very costly proposition actually. So complete track, there are very few examples where complete track is on the viaduct. So if we want to expand this bullet train to other parts of country, then we need to we have to reduce cost substantially. Without that it will be very difficult. And so we must lay it in a blasted track and on the ground. So you need embankment, you need help of geosynthetic, good polymers to use there, and so on. So this is the second area where we are trying to accelerate. And the third thing is, as you know, Vande Bharat train is now functional. It can go up to 180 speed very easily, and in future it could go to 200 km/h. But if you look at the tracks or infrastructure, that's not conducive for that. So the speed has been restricted to 120, 130 like that. So how do you upgrade your existing track for this purpose? So this is some areas in which IIT Delhi is working, and we are also extending our consultancy services to the Indian Railways and all other stakeholders.
Now a question to all the panelists is, how do you see the future of Indian Railways infrastructure and technology landscape by 2030? What new technologies and methods are needed to be deployed to make the future vision viable? Anybody can start.
Let me talk signaling only today for this part, and then maybe somebody else can talk civil or whatever. From my perspective, in the next 5 years, quantumly what can happen and should happen is the legacy assets get connected. And what do I mean by legacy assets is, let's say there are station equipment, there is equipment on the track, and these don't talk to each other. They don't talk to nothing. They are just connected by wires, and those wires reach the stations, and then something happens in the stations, and when that something goes wrong, then you could have an accident. And that's what Sir was saying some time back. And if these assets would start talking, and can make it into a more, let's say, technical word, connected assets. If you have these assets talking, connected, and there are millions of assets on the railway, we have 7,000 stations, and so 7,000 stations into maybe 200 assets per location, so a lot of assets are there. And these must get connected, that's the first step, which is a very quantum step. Once those assets get connected, then there will be a data available. If there is a data available, then there are people in the world called data scientists who are able to, let's say, make some sense of the data. For example, and I don't want to talk about a specific incident or whatever, but there are many things, let's say when a signal changes from a red to a green, there is a certain amount of activity which happens in that so-called data or the assets there. And the data gives an indicator that the color is changing of the light. Maybe because the LED has a different voltage when there's a red color or a green color. So something does change, and somebody today does not monitor that, and that has to happen. So this is, let's say, what I would see in the next 5 years can happen. The next thing also in the next 5 years which should happen, and I really hope it happens, is that we only put assets on the ground which talk to each other. For example, let me give a simpler example. I use an Apple phone for years, and my wife uses a Samsung phone for years. And still today we have different chargers. I now hear that the Samsung and iPhone will have common chargers going forward, but this has not happened so far. And the same thing needs to happen also in the so-called asset base of the railway. They should be able to talk to each other. It's not about charging. I gave a very simplistic example, but if there is a product from Siemens and there's a product from Thales or from Ansaldo, they must be able to talk to each other. So the railway must only deploy, going forward from today, tomorrow, day after, only those assets which talk to each other, and they're doing it. It's not they're not doing it. There's something called a U-Links protocol, which is followed by the signaling people across the world. It's also under development in the Western European and Japan or wherever, but it's work in progress, and that's what the railway must do. There are two things which are the foundation of the future beyond 2030, and this must happen by 2030. So it's connected assets and assets to which talk to each other. Apart from that, we will have the national ATP in 5 years. We will have the automatic signaling which will provide the capacity, and we will have the TMS which will provide the supervision and control of the system. With these blocks in place, I think we have laid the foundation for a future, for a very, very modern and a safe railway, and that's what I would think is, let's say, my thought process in very simple words about how the future of the railway signaling will pan out in the next 4 to 5 years. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, sir. Mangal Dev, sir.
I would like to add something over it. Because since I am from the infrastructure company, and it is important to have a safety as well as the development. So many things are happening. It is not only the safety is the important, the development is also important. So with Mission 3,000 million ton, various opportunities are coming up which will be completed by 2030 is multi-tracking, new track development. This all will be for improving for lowering the freight of a product so that we become more competitive to the international market, number one. Now in the communication segment, as Manish has mentioned, the instrument should be, or these digits to be talking to each other. In communication segments, many things are going to come. The IPLS is already on the target of the railway, where the entire network of 68,000 kilometers is going to be covered. Now, in addition to GSMR, the spectrum has been allotted, and many opportunities and the development is going to happen in the spectrum allocation and the train operation system and the communication of these equipments talking to each other. And probably the line capacity, Manish has also already mentioned that the line capacity can be improved with the auto-block signaling, which is the target initially with the HU and SGL route and the golden quadrilateral starting with next 5 years for the 34,000 kilometers. And probably the other opportunities which will be coming, shall I take it further, sir, or? Yeah, okay. Because it is important for the industry to understand where the opportunity is going to come for them. Because EPC company can feel it, and it is important to us to understand it. Now, with all those things happening, probably the new things is the opportunity which is coming through various bullet train kind of projects, where the equipments will be different, our preparedness will be different, 2 into 25 modification for the high-speed running of a train. Probably our catenary system, the transformer system, which we are regularly using for the Indian Railway, will be changing to Scott Connect transformer, V Connect transformers. So opportunities are coming. There is already a path which is defined. Over and above, probably the next thing could be the predictive maintenance, which is not happening in the Indian Railway. It is the need-based maintenance which we are actually talking about. Where something as the signal is coming to the pod machine is consuming higher electricity or consuming a higher power, that means there is something wrong in the system. So the IoT should predict that with the data which is collected that there is some mistake and there is a need to attempt it. Similarly, the OHE track system, everything can go to the predictive maintenance, which is the rolling stock is already taking steps towards this area. I think these are the direction which will be taken next 5 to 10 years. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Mangal, sir.
I think my colleagues have already mentioned a lot about infrastructure and signaling. Just want to add few points that I think we're all aware that Indian Railway is very cognizant about two things. One is that they need to be ready for 2050 with an infrastructure which they should put in place by 2030. So there is a national rail plan in place. To do that, there is already 9 times increase in the allocation of the infrastructure fund from the central government for the railways. And I think as far as technologies are concerned, they are available in the market. Now the question is, how do Indian Railways utilize these funds to create the infrastructure that is ready for 2050 by 2030. So I think that's something which is work in progress, I would say. Many things are happening, many more things need to happen. The other point is, I think we're also aware that Indian Railways network is very, very highly loaded, in the key areas. If you know the golden quadrilateral, which is only 22% of Indian Railways network, is carrying almost 60% of the revenue generating traffic. And therefore, the idea of DFCs and second line, third line, and fourth line, and fifth line, and whatever, that is required. I think Indian Railways have prepared a blueprint in order to expand this network in the areas which is highly dense network or highly utilized network. But what is important at this point in time is also to put a lot of attention towards maintenance of the existing infrastructure, and also systematically upgrade and remove all the past legacy systems to create a common standard across Indian Railways. I think these are 2 recommendations I would like to make without going into the details.
Thank you, sir.
Can I take this question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I think the immediate need where they are going to put is one is of course upgradation of signaling and safety, which is of course there. The second thing is they want to enhance the infrastructure for this Vande Bharat train, which will require a lot of rolling stocks than sleepers. But in addition to that, there are technologies which just lift the rail, and then you can increase the thickness of the ballast, or you can clean the ballast and then you can put the geocomposite at the bottom so that any water which is seeping inside can drain out. So all these things will require, and the second focus area will be now tunneling, because a lot of projects are going on for connectivity of the hilly regions. All around we have a very large hilly region in Himalayan. So there are a lot of projects are going on the tunneling. And for tunneling, we need technologies, TBMs, which can go there and construct quickly. And then you have now in the underwater tunneling also coming up big way, for example, in the bullet train, then in the your sealing project, similar like that, and then you are in northeast, you are having that Brahmaputra tunnel. So all this will require a lot of technology for tunneling in the soil as well.
Thank you, sir. We are also having one panelist, Mr. Rajeev Gupta. He is Vice President Sales and Marketing at Texmaco Rail and Engineering Limited. Sir, you have 28-year experience in sales, marketing, BD, R&D, industrial logistics, etc. Texmaco Rail and Engineering Limited manufactures a diverse range of products: railway freight, car, hydromechanical and loco components, steel girders for railway bridges, etc. Sir, would you like to add in this question?
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. In fact, Railways decided last year to increase their market share in the freight industry to 45% by 26-27, which is a substantial increase what Railways is looking for as compared to the National Rail Plan, what they made in 2019. This means, I mean, for our industry, there are a lot of freight cars being planned for, there are a lot of DFC being developed. So from Texmaco point of view, Texmaco is almost a 7 decades old company and have manufactured a lot of railway components, as what Sir said. So if I just looking from the rolling stock point of view, we have made more than 150,000 wagons in last 7 decades, and almost all kind of wagons what you see in the industry has been developed by Texmaco in the past. Last year, when the railways released an order of 75,000 wagons, we got a major share of 20,000 wagons, which is definitely going to help us in for the next 3 years. And apart from that, we are supplying to almost all the major industries, right from Siemens, steel, freight, auto, all kind of wagons we have been supplying. So this gives us quite a boost for our order book and supply. So we are also working on the new designs what Railways is looking for. We are working on the new models so we can increase our share of wagons in the, say, food processing industries and other industries as well. Similarly, I mean, from signaling, from track, in all the areas, Texmaco is really expanding and also looking for the possibility in the passenger mobility, and which we definitely are going to come up in the next couple of years.
Thank you, sir. Sir, your views are required in another question. Your organization recently formed a JV with NAMWAG for wagon production. Can you share more insights on this with us?
From wagon industry point of view, we are definitely looking for a big enhancement. Right from the manufacturing of 200 to 300 wagons per month, we have already gone to, say, 600 wagons per month. And we are looking for almost making 1,200 to 1,300 wagons in next few months. So with the NIMWAG, we are looking for expanding our business in the international markets. NIMWAG and Texmaco are coming up with a plant in India, and they are going to make the new technology wagons, and which is going to happen in the last part of this quarter, for this financial year. And apart from this, we are also looking for expanding into the international markets, basically the Europe and US markets, which the freight car industry has not really experimented or tried. We had been limiting ourselves to Asian and the African countries, but this time we are going to the Europe, and this joint venture definitely is going to help us in expanding our market, and also to bring a good amount of technology from the European markets in the Indian market.
Sir, in continuation to this, can you tell me what other areas Texmaco is working upon to develop the ecosystem in rolling stock?
So when we are talking of doubling the capacity or going for almost 2.5 times the capacity, it is not only the wagon manufacturer or the freight car manufacturer who has to really expand. We have to work a lot for the ecosystem. A lot of vendor base needs to be developed. The capacity of the vendors needs to be increased, the skill set of the workers, and apart from that, not only for our company, but for our vendors as well. So we are working on skill enhancement. We're also working on opening a Podar School of Welding Institute, which we are working with European companies. And similarly, we are looking for capacity enhancement for both our company and our vendors, and how we can take or how we can really address the additional requirement of railways and the other customers we are dealing with.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, now I will ask one common question. This common question will be from Mr. Mangal Dev and Mr. Rajeev Gupta, sir. Before asking question, let me tell some brief. Sir, railway is a backbone of Indian transport system, as we are all are aware. And a lot of technological advancements are happening in terms of safety, comfort, or overall passenger experience. So far as Vande Bharat Express, which is also known as T18 train, is concerned, it runs in the cities when the distance is less than 500 kilometers. And is designed under Make in India campaign, we are aware. Presently is operational under in 23 routes and is running at 80 to 90 kilometers per hour. And another train, which is Vande Metro, government in budget 23-24 has announced that they are planning to start it by December 23, and it will run between stations when the distance is less than 100 kilometers. Now recently on 14th April 23, government has announced that Vande Metro be launched in December 23, will operate less than 100, I have told you, and there shall be a first hydrogen powered train. My question to both of Shri Mangal Dev and Shri Rajeev Gupta is, we have seen that there are lot of Vande Bharat train sets being announced and awarded. How do you view overall development in Indian Railways? A, is your team developing or planning to develop any products for these projects? B, what is your take and contribution on Vande Bharat train sets? I am giving you, sir, 5 minutes to both of you, then planning that 1 or 2 questions to be asked by the audience.
Thank you for your question. I think first of all, Vande Bharat, starting from train 18, has been a great success. I think I must, congratulate ICF mainly and the entire, ecosystem, the railways as well as the private sector in really putting their mind and soul together to produce this train. And now this is being scaled up in large number. Already, I think 25 trains are already commissioned. They're running on 30 routes. And we recently saw a new color combination of the Vande Bharat, which is the 28th train being rolled out from ICF. So I think it is living to the aspiration of the common traveler in India, and I think it's a great achievement. Now to expand it, Indian Railways has already started utilizing the funds which I talked about, and a large number of long-term contracts are being awarded to Indian companies and also international companies who want to work in Indian Railways factories. So this will really scale up and bring some new innovation as far as the trains are concerned. And we hope, that this will become the mainstay, not only for the main line, you talked about intercity travel, but also long distance travel, overnight travel with sleeper coaches, but also in the suburban sector, so-called the metro, and we look forward to that. I think, so there is a huge market that this is creating, not only for the car builder and the bogie and the integrator, but also for the large number of companies, who are in this ecosystem, whether it is in the brake system, HVAC, coupler, gangway, all that goes into this. So I think this is going to really transform the Indian ecosystem. Now what is that, can be done additionally is what we have already demonstrated. I mean, I talk from a point of view of digital predictive maintenance, and also making sure that the train is able to utilize the infrastructure, in a very optimal manner. So Hitachi has already been part of the smart coach, where we have put sensors on the bogies for measuring the vibration, of the entire bogie as well as of the coach, and also the vibration coming from the track, and then analyzing these and providing alert to the operator, to the train driver, and to the maintenance staff, and to also the other designers like RDSO, from time to time, as what is the overall utility of each and every subsystem compared to the design life. So this system, which is called a predictive system, the backbone of that is, some very unique sensors which are self-powered, and they communicate wirelessly. They don't need any wiring system, to communicate these signals of different kind of vibration to the node, and then from the different nodes on the train, it can communicate to the cloud, and then you can put all the artificial intelligence, machine learning algorithms, and you can really understand how your train is behaving, or different subsystems, different components are behaving, mainly the one that need, very frequent maintenance, for example, the wheels, for example, the bearings, etc., etc. And also, this can, when the train is traveling across the network, it can also identify the health of the rails and the track. So I think when we use this fixed infrastructure together with the train infrastructure, multiply this with digital technology, I think this is something Vande Bharat needs immediately, so that this can be scaled up to a large extent, because the scaling up will be very, very fast. And if we can use this kind of system on all Vande Bharat, I think this will be a great efficient use of the train and efficient use of the infrastructure. So this is one thing which I would like to recommend, and also we will take this, what we have in Hitachi, to all the Vande Bharat in coming future.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, Mangal Sahab already elaborated a lot. Mr. Rajeev Gupta, you have given only 2 minutes. Do you want to add?
I'll just like to briefly explain that. From customer point of view, who's a traveler, he is having a great experience, and I can say it's a great initiative of our Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Modi. Looking from the business point of view, coming from a freight car business, we are also looking for opportunities to expand in the passenger mobility, and we already started working on this. So not only to us, to our suppliers, to all other industry manufacturers also, it's a great opportunity to diversify and expand in different segments. So Vande Bharat will definitely bring a lot of new components to be developed, new business opportunities, and as an industry people, we can always encash that. So from Texmaco point of view, we have already started working on this, and definitely will come back in the passenger mobility, apart from the freight car, signaling, track, which we are already doing.
Thank you very much. Now it is open to audience. Only one question from any audience. You can ask from any of the panelists. And after that, when we conclude this session, you can discuss all your queries with our panelists offline. Thank you.
Question for Dr. Shahu. There's something called Mission Raftar. Dr. Shahu, you are the track expert, so I'm asking you the question. There's something called Mission Raftar, under which you currently, most of our mail express trains run at 100 to 110 kilometers. Rajdhani runs up to 130, Shatabdi up to 140. Okay? Under Mission Raftar, the Indian Railways would like all their trains on Delhi-Mumbai and Delhi-Calcutta sections to run at 160 kilometers per hour. Are you aware of it? Or is IIT doing anything in that respect? You can answer, or maybe any other panelist also.
As I mentioned, it's because of the track deficiency. We have the rails which are not so strong. We have the ballast thickness lesser. We have the mud pumping problem. We have the soil problem. So technologies exist. We all know how to do it. Now the question is, investment is needed for upgrading. So as I earlier mentioned that for
18,000 crore is sanctioned already
yes,
for this mission.
yes.
So I suppose the investment is not an issue.
So yeah, so it will take time. As I mentioned that most of this investment will go towards this upgradation of the infrastructure only. So basically you need to raise the track or change the rail stock there, change the sleeper, increase the thickness or clean the ballast and put the geocomposite at the bottom which can drain out the water, which can strengthen the track. But it's time taking also. So this major chunk of this investment probably go towards this upgradation of the track only.
You can add? Yes, sir.
And last comment about Sri Mangal Dev, what he said, the health monitoring of the track and also rolling stock, I think it's a very excellent idea and railways should adopt this because that will really save the money on the maintenance and also timely maintenance can happen due to this.
Sir, I would like to add something over and because we are doing around 70% of Mission Raftar work and most of the issue which is coming, it is not from the track side for the current to speed, except there are certain permanent speed restriction where the rail alignment is to be taken up. Otherwise, for the electrification part, there is a tension which is, current tension is slightly less. It may entangle with the pantograph. So it is generally the ATD modification and the higher tensioning of the electrification. This is the important project which is to be important. And probably the signaling part which is generally is being added safety is being covered with the Kavach in addition to electronic interlocking where KC, Siemens and the other people are also working on that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sir, the time is up, but the organizer has given me 5-6 minutes. Anybody would like to ask any one question, sir?
Yeah. Yeah. I have one question. Hi, this is Dr. Samir Bua here from Vignaharta Technologies Private Limited, Pune-based company. My question to Shri Bhatti sir. Sir, right now we are, I have gone through this case so that I am explaining this thing. We have been following the standards as per the ISO, but the laboratories, the testing for these laboratories, for the standards, are based out of a country. So if I want to get my product approved for RDSO, I need to go for the overseas laboratories type testing. So can it be done at the Indian laboratories? For example, if I want to test my product at TUV, then RDSO or agency says that it has to be tested at TUV Germany, not in India. So it's very difficult for us to go for German TUV laboratory and something. Can it be done in India? And if it is to be done, to whom shall I approach? This is to be done at TUV India, something like that. Can you please throw some light on this?
I think I will give you a suggestion.
Yeah.
We are having our own department. I can interact one of the, this is the ISO department in RITES because I was dealing with metro and the road and bridges. We are having a separate department because in RITES we are having nearly 30 to 40 departments and everybody looking after each and every part. So I can interact with one of that one.
Oh, thank you.
Another question, sir. Anybody asked a question?
Just one last question. That will be, thank you. If you could identify yourself, sir.
Yeah, this is Viresh from South Korea, India. I have one general comment and then I have a question for Siemens and Hitachi. So my general comment is that Indian government is doing a lot of stuff, but I think the sense of urgency is still missing because karenge, hoga, I think because sense of urgency is required.
Your question is to Mr. Mangal Dev?
No, this is a comment. Now, question is coming. The comment is, the question is to Hitachi, Mr. Mangal Dev and Mr. Manish. You guys are also into rolling stock globally. What about you guys? What's your plan of future to participate in rolling stock in India? Both Siemens and both Hitachi, because you guys are big globally, because we work with you guys in Europe, US and everywhere. So I just want to know any future plans you have on that.
So I think as far as Hitachi is concerned, we are already into rolling stock. So we have partnered with BEML. My friend Praveen Matpal is here. He can vouch that we are manufacturing trains for Mumbai Metro MRS1, which is completely automated UTO trains. And let's, continue to supply that. And of course, in addition to us, BML is manufacturing large number of other trains and also getting into Vande Bharat. And we have an MOU with them, and as they expand, we support them in their expansion. So that is the first part of the answer. The second is we're also very busy in realizing the high-speed Mumbai-Ahmedabad, which is the flagship project of the two governments. And therefore, we want to make sure that that happens as planned, and we want to put as much focus in that as we are putting in the Mumbai metro trains.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much to all eminent panelists for sharing remarkable insights. I also thank you, all the audience, for a patient learning. I hope all of you enjoyed the insights. In fact, I am having a couple of questions more, but time is always challenge, so I am not asking more questions. In fact, I was having near about 5 to 6 questions to be asked from the different panelists. Thank you so much, sir.